Hello there, this is Bick Benedict. We are playing God of War 3 Remastered on Chaos difficulty, and this is my Pain Plus run for the aforementioned title. We are on Installment the 5th, and it is entitled Hades Palace. So it's one of those kind of dull chapters, you know, in between boss fights, and there are about 4 fights. This is one of them. 2 of the fights are with very aggressive harpies, and then one of the fights you'll have some dogs and some Minotaur elites, if I'm not mistaken. If they're the ones with the armor, they are in fact elites. So there won't be too much to talk about in this video, and indeed what I thought I might do, but I'm not going to do it, is just put all of the tough fights sort of like in the way I did my Dead Space no damage run. I think it was one of the Dead Spaces. I just did all the fights and I didn't do any traversal. Probably was Dead Space 1, but since I don't know which fights people are going to struggle on this, I have to put all the fights in, so it's no big deal to me. But the first encounter here is going to be with the harpies, so they will spawn after you bring the block over to the wheel. So I will be discussing some tangents because otherwise it would be a very boring video. But just remember, on these harpy fights are some of the hardest in the game, because what I'm doing is I'm thinking in the back of my mind, well, I really can't get damaged too much because I can't open any of the health chests to refill my health. But honestly, you don't have to worry about that because you get a heal on Hades. It's extremely kind of the game. It's fair, and trust me, you'll need that heal. But these fights, I did both of them no damage, but I was just trying to just beat them because they're extremely difficult. You know, even though it's a one grab and then they're out of the picture, there's at least a dozen of these guys, and they can be very fast and extremely deadly. So I think I have to check. I think I have Arkham Knight on my PS4. It's unbelievable how long it takes the game to download it to a state where I can actually play it. I think it needs to download about somewhere around 16 gigabytes of the 45 that it takes. But I almost put in a dispute against the PlayStation Network, and I almost lied and said that one of my kids downloaded it, and without my permission, even though I don't have any kids. It seemed like the most legitimate way to possibly get my money back, because, you know, the PlayStation Network, no refunds. Fuck you, you're not getting your money back, motherfucker. What do you think this is, Steam? But these are not Minotaur grunts. My complete bad. This is actually a pretty challenging fight, but it's just, you know, kicking the dogs and the Minotaurs. What else? Yeah, just really get on these dogs. You see the way I'm throwing that dog in the air? It's the same throw mechanic or animation from God of War 2 when you're throwing those wild boars in the air. It's really cool. But the reason I say I think I have Arkham Knight is because I've tried to play it several times, and each time I can't stand it, I just delete it. And it's kind of amusing that you can delete something in about 5 seconds or less, like 3 seconds. That takes about 10 hours to actually download your PS4. And I think it is the PS4 that takes really too long, because on Steam I downloaded it in about 5 hours, like the whole file, all of it. Maybe 6 hours, but it was not 10 hours. And I will say this, Arkham Knight is unplayable, and I'm not talking about the PC version, which literally is unplayable. I'm talking about the PS4 version, which supposedly runs better than the Xbox One version. Arkham Knight is a piece of fucking trash. It is utter fucking trash, the way they force you to use the Batmobile. And I really wanted to play it and bring it to this channel, but the way they force you to use the Batmobile, and just the way the overall atmosphere feels so clunky and laborious and just weighty. I've never experienced such a shitty game in my life until I played Arkham Knight. And I've played a little bit of it. I haven't just just played it for 45 minutes. I played it for several hours. And whoever decided to put the Batmobile in the game ruined the franchise. Ruined it, absolutely ruined it. And one of my favorite things to do in a game, as far as the favorite mechanics, is to have a camera reset. In that game, here's the thing: there's no camera reset in Arkham Knight. I'm sorry, I got a pop-up message from my system mechanic file, but there's no resetting the camera in Arkham Knight. So I said to myself, hold on a minute. I know in one of the previous games, if not both of the previous games, there was a camera reset. So I didn't have Arkham Asylum, so I can't confirm if Arkham Asylum has a camera reset, but I do have Arkham City on my PC, my desktop. So I started it up, and even though I was playing as Catwoman, it had a camera reset. And I even looked in the controls, and it said beautifully, camera reset. And whoever did it, I don't know if it was Sefton Hill, the director, but they took it out of Arkham Knight. And I also was looking for sensitivity settings, because there are no sensitivity settings in our Arkham Knight. And to be fair, there aren't any in Arkham City either. But no sensitivity settings for a 2015 game? Are you kidding me? Because it's not enough that the game can't even reach 60 frames per second on the consoles. It's bad enough. But it's also even more pathetic when you have to have no sensitivity options, because if you had them, then the player would be moving around the camera too much and mess the frame rate up, which is absolutely pathetic. And we're talking about a frame rate that's probably below 30, like 25 on average, or 27, something like that. I'm just going off some things that I read, but that game, so horrible. So horrible. How do you screw everything up like that? I've never seen a company just rest on their laurels and fall in love with some concept which should have been optional. There should be some DLC or something where you can remove it, or some kind of a... I would pay $5 to remove the Batmobile. It's sickening. It's utterly sickening. And that's a shame, because I was all excited about it. And no camera reset, no sensitivity settings, a Batmobile. Do you think I want to play Grand Theft Auto when I play Batman? Batman was about running around and on foot and gliding around in the air. It was never about driving a fucking car. So every time I play it, I hate it. I hate it. I just hate the slowness of it. Oh man, the camera is so slow. I don't think there's a single good thing in that game. It's really sad too. And the sad thing is that it's worse than Arkham Origins. Arkham Origins is better than that game. That's sad. But that's all I'll talk about that. So you guys, an epic fight is coming up, and if you like Arkham Knight, I have a lot of respect for you, because I can't tolerate it, and the fact that people can tolerate it, it really blows my mind. Okay, so all you really have to do is copy exactly what I'm doing here. I've done these puzzles so many times. So let's not talk about Arkham Knight anymore, because it's not worth talking about. But I did want to air those grievances, because just like the atmosphere in that game, they're weighty grievances. But Hades, you will need to practice this guy a lot. There's nothing cheap about him. It's all fair. It's just extremely hard and an endurance fight, because for a long time, about 6 phases, you don't get a checkpoint. So it's all about learning, memorizing the patterns, anticipating what he's going to do, reacting in kind, using iframes, and I think that's all that really needs to be said. Oh, and just having the proper amount of stamina to carry you through. Take care.